Donnie Gilbert, what's happening in the freight markets right before this Labor Day holiday?
All right, so we were talking about long haul. We went at rejection rates. We saw where long haul was the third highest in rejection rates because more people wanted to accept long haul loads, so it kind of moved it kind of down the charts there. Well, now we're looking at long haul outbound tender volumes, which are here in blue here, and it's 3,995 index points. This is the number one in volume still, though. So here, they're generally more accepted, which keeps rejection rates down, and it's also the biggest lane that we have. Here I'm looking at, short haul around 2,950, mid hauls around 3,100, and tweener hauls around 3,250. So just kind of get an idea. We saw a big spike up to just over 4,000 right before the end of the month. It kind of dropped down here, and of course, these are going to be probably some of the most accepted lanes over the holiday weekend.
They are. More miles equals more money, keeps the wheels moving. 3-day weekend, nothing will be, I won't say nothing will be open Monday, but very few.
Yeah, and the other part is, as a carrier, Kevin, you don't want your drivers stopped, especially sitting there at a truck stop during the holiday weekend, doing nothing, very bored because they start dialing up those call here for a job.
Yeah, those recruitments.
Yeah, and they start looking, and of course they'll be promised everything under the sun. And right now, the only place you're going to get more truck drivers is from another company. There's not a lot of inflow of new truck drivers right now. So, you do not want your drivers sitting at a fuel station waiting to deliver 2 days. They're going to get bored. They're going to find something to do, and it might be calling that phone number. So keep your drivers moving.
Keep them moving, definitely, because, there's nothing worse than being stuck at a truck stop over a holiday weekend.
Yeah. So here on my next map, this is kind of interesting. When we put this information together, I've got long haul outbound tender rejection rates, which is the blue that you see here on the map. And then in the shade is the actual volumes. You kind of see the lighter shades are here on the East Coast and the West Coast. And that's because those are a lot of those loads that they want. They want to go coast to coast, back and forth. So these are the ones being more accepted. Of course, you see a little bit darker here right in the middle. Well, it's kind of hard to get a long haul out of Missouri because they're, being in the middle, yes, they can break the 800 miles, but, going one direction or the other, you're only going to get half the miles.
Exactly.
But so you see rejection rates here. I just kind of got a kick out of how seeing the East Coast and the West Coast were the lighter shades when we brought this up. But I like looking at this on a U.S. map because it gives you an idea, a better view, high elevation view of where the freight is. You see that, obviously, you see Los Angeles and Ontario sticking way up out there. And then, of course, your major markets, Dallas, Atlanta, Harrisburg. Now some of your ports here, New Jersey, sticking up there, Allentown. And so you can kind of get a high elevation view of where all this freight is. Go ahead.
No, you really do. And there's coast to coast. I mean, it's a perfect weekend, the holiday weekend. The normal weekend is good for that. This just makes it even more important.
Yeah.
You want to get those miles in.
But my second favorite map here, I'll pull up next here. This is a great high elevation view. You kind of see it, but I like using my heat maps. This is the same exact information that we were just looking at, except now I've put it into heat maps where I can sort and go through this information. So here on your left, this is long haul outbound tender rejection rates, and on your right are the volumes. So immediately I can go in and sort it by and see where shippers are having the highest troubles at. And you see, Bismarck, North Dakota, 63%. Well, that's a small market.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get high rejection rates in a small market. But the ones that are more surprising, Pendleton, Oregon, Twin Falls, Idaho. I believe we'll look into some of these here. Pendleton, not Twin Falls, but Twin Falls. A lot of this is reefer, just because potato season's coming up. The hops that are being produced right now.
I'm going to ask you about one because it's where I'm from, and that's the Tulsa, Oklahoma market. It's a mid-market type of freight, mid to small market. It has some size to it. How would you read this? How would you make your decision by looking at 43.67 and the columns here?
So
what would this tell you?
Well, this right here will tell me that that compared to contracted rates, the long haul loads are going for a much higher spot rate than they are than the contracted rate. Drivers are declining, or carriers are declining the contracted freight that's long haul in Tulsa and taking up and pushing to the spot market and running for higher rates. They don't want to run it for what they're being priced at. And they could have been priced at a lower rate because Tulsa is a smaller market in kind of the middle of nowhere. And where's this freight going to? Is it going, back to California? If it's going back to California, that's going to push the rates down significantly because it's going to a gold market. Is it going to the Southeast? That's not really want to go. They don't want to go to the Northeast or the Southeast. So the lanes out of Tulsa right now are going to be, hey, I'll go to California or I'll go to the Midwest.
Yeah.
And that pushes the rates down. Well, us going into a very tight capacity market right now, they're not running things at contracted rates. They're a lot elevated. But we'll jump over right quick to the next one. We'll just kind of dive in and look at Pendleton. And you'll see, here, Pendleton, we have reefer rejection rates in Pendleton have jumped up to 60%. So this is what's really driving the markets here right now versus the drive-in is at 5%.
Yeah.
So when we see Pendleton picked up here, it's the reefer. So always break it down and figure out what's driving the market, drive-in or reefer. And then we see reefer volumes are at 51. So it's a pretty good, decent reefer market right now.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this carrier update.